It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hello and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and today we're going to be making different spreads and sauces to put on different foods. We're going to be making an aioli, which is a French mayonnaise. It's a lemon flavored mayonnaise. And you put that in a lot of things. We used to make this a lot at Pam Sherman's back in the 80s. And you substitute it for whatever you use mayonnaise for. Spreads on your sandwiches, potato salad, etc. It just gives it a refreshing taste to it. It's a lemon flavored mayonnaise is what it is. And I'm going to make this with my immersion wine and a little cup here. And so what we need is I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of minced garlic. And you can use fresh garlic too if you want. That's all going to get whizzed up, chopped up anyway. I just happen to have this I want to use up. I got a whole jar of this minced garlic. Dollar store. And then we're going to put in 1 egg yolk. And then I just save the whites in my little jar here until I get enough, whatever. Use it for meringues or mix it in with your French toast batter, etc. It don't go to waste, use it up right away. Just don't let it sit too long. Then, cover that so I don't spill it, which I probably will, knowing me. And we're going to put in about a half teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Now I wish I had the real Dijon from France when I was over there. I mean, I had it when I was over there. It's really good because ours is so commercialized here. But can't bring food over on the plane. Legally, anyway. So we're going to whiz this up a little bit. I want to get that all mixed thoroughly before we start adding the oil to it. And then we're going to be adding a mixture of olive oil and vegetable oil. We want the two mixed together now. Make sure to use the extra virgin olive oil so it's not heavy and greasy. You want to start out with a 1/4 cup of the olive oil, and then I'll add 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil to that. The extra virgin olive oil is light, and that's used in your dressings and salads, etc. Regular olive oil is more for your cooking, like stir frying, etc. Because the extra virgin is lighter and more refreshing, whereas the regular olive oil is heavier and greasier. Not greasier, but it has more rancid taste. It has more taste to it. So you want to use the lighter in your dressing so it doesn't get all the way down and greasy. So then we'll add 3 tablespoons of the vegetable oil. And then we're going to just take and drizzle this in slowly. You don't want to go too fast, otherwise it's going to separate on you. School kids, school bus, starting. I think they're doing a dry run maybe. So remember, just to drizzle this in slowly. It takes time and patience, because if you do it too fast, it's going to separate, and then it's all thin and liquidy. So instead of you sitting there for 10 minutes watching me do that, I'll cut and come back. As you can see now, it's getting thicker. It's getting more like mayonnaise. And this is the consistency that we want. Before it was just way too thin. So you gotta be careful and just pour this in just a few drops at a time, or a really slow drizzle. And just continue on doing this until your oil is all done. And just, you want to get that air in there. So as soon as I finish it drizzling, we'll be right back. Okay, see, now we got a really nice thick consistency there. Oh, and another thing too, don't forget, like I just did, when you put in the garlic and egg yolk, don't forget your 2 teaspoons or garlic, egg yolk. Don't forget the 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. I think I forgot it because I couldn't taste the lemon when I got done. I'm like, oh. But I just added it in there, buzzed it in there, but I added that lemon juice slowly just so I would separate the mayonnaise. And you can see it's nice and thick. Now I'll just put this in the refrigerator and let it chill until I need it. And I'll just cover this up with a little piece of saran wrap. And there we go, and we'll go on to our next recipe. Okay, now I took the tahini and I transferred it into a bowl, a shallow bowl, wrapped it in cellophane, and I got that in my freezer now. I did. I do that. So that it will chill much quicker, and then we can make our sandwiches out of this. So just letting this chill now for about 15-20 minutes and it'll be fine. Next, we're going to go on to making some homemade tahini, because I want to make, my next recipe we're going to be making is hummus, homemade hummus. It's wonderful. Pita chips and vegetables to dip in is wonderful. But we're going to make, and it calls for tahini. Now you have to have tahini in it to get the taste. You got to have that sesame taste in there. If you skip the tahini, you can, but it doesn't taste like traditional hummus then. You want that tahini in there. Plus, tahini itself in this grocery store is very expensive. I mean, very expensive. And what it is, it's just sesame seed butter. In other words, it's peanut butter, but it's made out of sesame seeds instead. And so what we need is a cup of sesame seeds, and we're going to take and just roast these in the pan here on the stove. Now you don't want to use the oven. You're going to heat up the whole place. It takes forever. But you can roast your seeds, nuts, etc. right in a frying pan right on your stove whenever your recipe calls for nuts. It brings out the essential oils in the seed or nuts to give it a much more richer flavor than if you didn't. So we're just going to toast these until they're lightly brown. Now, like I said, the tahini itself is sesame seed butter, peanut butter, but made with sesame seeds instead of peanuts. And all it is a cup of the sesame seeds. We're going to toast these, and I'll put them in my little cup there, and you use the immersion wand, and we drizzle in a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now, like I said, you can buy the tahini already made, but it's so expensive. Oh my God. And this here will last you about a month and a half in the refrigerator if you keep it well tight, covered. So, you don't want to do anything else while you're roasting these because it's so easy to burn them. They roast rather quickly once they start. And it's like, if you keep your eye off it, they're going to burn in that second. It's so easy. So don't be doing anything else, and multitasking when you're making, when you're toasting your nuts or your seeds, anything, because you don't want to burn them. Now you can see this starting to get just a little bit brown in there. You can see that's just starting to as I'm shaking them around here. So you want to get all of them more of that toasty brown looking. So you don't want to burn them. And like I said, it could be quite easy to do. So just don't do anything and keep an eye on it close, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I got these nice and toasty. See? And let these cool off slightly. You don't want to do them, you don't have to do them when they're hot. It's better when they're cool. So we'll just have to sit here a little bit. And then we'll be right back. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you too is that now I got my sesame seeds at the Asian markets. You've seen those little Asian markets in the side streets and stuff, whatever. Go into them. Food is so cheap in there, it's unreal. Packet of sesame seeds was only like $3. You go to Barley's or Lund's or just even your Cubs or Rainbow, whatever, you're going to, for a packet of sesame seeds, you're going to pay about $9, $10 for it. You know, it's outrageous. Nuts and seeds are very expensive. I go to the Asian stores, and they got everything in there really cheap. The seafood, God, what else? They got fresh vegetables there too, and a lot of them they grow their own, but a lot of them they get bought and shipped in too. But you just gotta go, shop around, whatever, and you can get water chestnuts. I even get my fresh raw peanuts for making my peanut brittle there, like $1.69 I think a bag. And in grocery stores I wasn't paying because I wouldn't buy them there, anywhere from $4 to $5 for a bag. So they do have a lot of things that are much cheaper than going into the regular grocery store. So let's let these cool down a little bit, and then we'll start on making the butter. Okay, now just like making the aioli, we'll do the same principle with the sesame seeds here and the oil. And this you can use regular vegetable oil, and we're going to be using a 1/4 cup. And this you can pour in and drizzle in, and then just blend it to whip it together. Just like you're making peanut butter. I don't know if you've ever made peanut butter before. And that's the same principle. You just put it in the food processor and whip it together, and then drizzle in the oil. That's a cup of seeds to a 1/4 cup of oil. And you don't have to drizzle this one in really slowly because it's going to be a thick anyway. What you want, the principle of this is to make sure those seeds are broken up. Oh, you can smell it. Whoa. It smells good. And as you can see, it's getting thicker, it's getting more pastier. We want to make sure we get all that seeds on the bottom and get this well mixed. Now the food processor works nice. Of course, doing this for making your butter. But my processor, the blades are at different levels. One's higher than the other. And they're not the first one's not completely on the bottom, so I'm not really getting the good mixture that I want. So that's why I'm doing the immersion one. But you can do this in your food processor if your blades are flat to the bottom. And now you just continue doing this until you get all those seeds ground up, and we get our nice sesame seed butter, which is called tahini. And then we'll be right back and start making our hummus. Okay, now for our hummus. Well, what hummus is, it's a chickpea, or another name is garbanzo bean paste spread. What I have in here is a 1/4 cup of lemon juice and a 1/4 cup of the tahini, the homemade tahini. Tahini. Like I said, I'm happy that I made it. It's the first time I ever made it. I know how, here, we used to make it, or back up Ham Sherman's, we used to take and buy it and bake huge 5-gallon drums of it, that, talk about expensive. Oh, that, you don't believe what that cost. So anyway, we got this here, mixed the two, and we're just gonna pulse this for about 30 seconds. Now, after the 30 seconds, you want to scrape your bowl, scrape the sides, scrape the top, so we get all this mixture together. So we don't want to end up with lumps, which is easy to do because the chickpeas are going to be, they're big, as comparing to mixing them up. So you want to make sure all your ingredients are nice and thoroughly mixed up together. And you can see that as I'm doing this, some of the stuff is thrown towards the center of the pin here, of the blade, so it didn't really get mixed in. So that's, that's the good reason why we want to do this. And then we'll just put this back on, and then we'll blend this for another 30 seconds. Okay, this is looking good. Now to this, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And the extra virgin olive oil we want to use on this. And like I said before, the extra virgin you want to use when making dressings, etc. So this, is we're making a dip. So that's considered, in the dressing family, kind of, sort of. We're not cooking, so we're mixing it together. So we want a light extra virgin olive oil. And then, do I have it here? I don't think so. Exit, stage left. Let's get my cumin. And then we need a half teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. Oh, I love cumin. I told you that before too. I throw this in every chili I make it. Oh, wonderful flavor. And then a little salt and pepper to taste. And instead of the kosher salt, you can use kosher salt in this too. That's very good for it. But I'm going to use my specialty salts here that I got. And I'm going to use the cypress salt. Since I'm doing a Mediterranean dish, I thought, well, let's do a little Mediterranean salt then, huh? That'd be kind of cool. A little salt to taste, however much, little. And I'll keep this on the side here just in case I want to do more later. Remember, always can put more in. Can't take it out once you put it in, so you want to be careful on that. And we'll just buzz this up for about 30 seconds. And then I have a can of chickpeas or the garbanzo beans, same thing. And this is a 15-ounce can. And we're going to rinse these because we don't want all that, slime and juice in there. But you can reserve that juice if you want. I'll tell you why. We'll find out later. Let's reserve some of it. But with this now, I want to rinse these off. You want to rinse these really good. I can't remember the name of it now. The reason why you want to rinse them off is because there's, forget the name, sulfate oxide. There's a chemical mixed in with the preservation of the beans that forms in here that you don't need to have in your cooking. And this will give a more garbanzo bean chickpea taste than having all that, sulfate in there. And then we're going to put these right in our concoction here into the food processor. Ooh, it's looking good. Can't really see it there. Okay, put in the whole can. Not the whole can, half the can, I forgot. We want to do this in a little bit of stages here because the beans are bigger. We want to make sure they all get emulsified down, mixed in and thoroughly chopped up. All at once, it's just too thick. So leave this on for about a minute. Then again, like before, we want to scrape the sides of the container and the bottom. Ooh, this is looking good. Looking really good. I haven't had hummus in ages. Then we'll pour in the rest of the beans. And then we'll let this go for about 2 minutes now. Alrighty, now, like before, we'll scrape the sides of the bowl again. Mix this in. We want to get all those little chunks now in case there are any in there. I don't even see any. That's good. Let's work. But you still want to do it just in case. So we get a nice smooth, oh, put this down. Nice smooth consistency. And then we'll do this for like 30 seconds. Oh, you can taste that tahini in there. Whoa, is that ever good? Samples. So then, as with the tahini, I'm going to chill this down and put this in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes so it can chill down. It tastes so much better when it's cold. And I want to eat it now. I bet you do too. I saved this juice, but we don't need it now. If the hummus should happen to turn out really thick, you can thin it out with 2 or 3 tablespoons of water. But instead of water, I would use the juice from the beans. That's why I saved that reserved juice. But we don't need it because this turned out just the right consistency that I was looking for. And this too is almost like the consistency of creamy peanut butter. So I'll wrap this up. And then I'll just stick this in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes and it should be done. Then in the meantime, we'll go on to making our sandwich with the aioli spread. And I'll be right back. Okay, now we can go on to making our sandwich. Sandwich. Oh, what's aioli? Sandwich. Oh. Oh, she likes that word. Sandwich. She hears that word, she comes running. She knows it's food. Anyway, so this is our aioli. I just took it out of the freezer, so it's nice and chilled. About 15-20 minutes. And then I'm using a loaf of Italian ciabatta bread. I got a whole loaf here, so I can see, ooh, yummy. And we're gonna take and just lay this aioli on top of that. See, it's nice and thick now. Oh, it's nice, just like mayonnaise. And then we're gonna spread this over our ciabattas. And we're gonna get this just heaping up on there. Ooh, it's so good. And there's a lot of holes in that ciabatta bread so I can soak it up, you know what I mean? Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Just cover that completely. And see, this was a small enough recipe so that you can use it all up in one serving, in one setting, you know, making your sandwich like this. So you don't have to let it sit around and think, well, what am I going to use it on next time? And you just let it sit there in the refrigerator, and then by the time you think of something, it's already spoiled, you know. So this way, if you make small amounts of these kind of dressings, they're not going to, you know, spoil on you. And then I got some arugula, or some Asian leaf lettuce. So I'm just going to alternate the colors here so we can get some nice colors going together with the lettuce. And then I'm going to take and go just a little bit more on the opposite way. I can do 2 layers. This is a little thin, it's not that thick of lettuce. I just want to get this going so we get nice coloring presentation. And then we're going to put on our tomatoes. And I'm just going to slightly overlap because I don't want to overlap them a lot because I don't like that much tomato in the sandwich. The taste is fine. You know, I don't like a heavy tomato, but that looks nice though. And then we have, and these are, I sliced as thin as possible with my knife. If I had a mandolin or a slicer, I would, you know, get them even paper thin, then you can really mound them up then. And then let's go with a little red onion. Here we go with that. And on top of the bun, on top of that, ooh. Oops, samples. And then that's our sandwich. Oh, I forgot. I was going to do this too. I want to sprinkle with a little salt. And you can, you know, use the kosher salt. You know how much I love kosher salt. But since I got these gift salts, I might as well use them up. And this is sea salt. So sea salt's always good to use too, if you don't have kosher salt. But I like to use kosher salt whenever I cook and bake. But this is going to be for a sandwich, so I'm not baking with it, so any kind of salt is fine, but I prefer the sea salt. And this is a black sea salt from the Black Sea. This is really, really good. And you can just sprinkle as much or as little as you want on your own preference. It just tastes so different than having regular salt. Let me tell you, it just unique flavors to the flavored salts. So then here's our lovely roast beef sandwiches. Sandwiches, Callie, sandwiches. Yeah. The lovely layering of the roast beef, tomatoes, onions, the lettuce, and the aioli. Oh, that aioli is delicious. And it's just lemon flavored mayonnaise. And then we have our nice vegetable tray to be serving with your hummus. And I just sprinkled a little bit of paprika on the top there, just to give it a little color. And then we have our pita chips, which you can just take and just dip right into your hummus. There you go. And they come right up, and they're scoops, kind of scoopy-ish. So you can get a lot of hummus on there. So I hope you enjoy these late summer picnic snacks to enjoy. The aioli sauce, like I said, substitute that in anything for mayonnaise. It's wonderful in potato salad. And then our homemade hummus. So, from the Northwoods Cooking Show, I'd like to say, eat healthy, be safe, and spread the sunshine. And enjoy the rest of the summer. Bye-bye.